program is repeated tomorrow at 8:30. And God's willing, we should be back next week, same time, same place. Until then, Orville Higgins is the name. So long.
You can open a Sagicor Bank savings account from anywhere. Go online and open yours today.
The time by Sagicor Bank is
Tonight in CVM News, NMIA renovation schedule 2026 remains on course. Jamaica My Valentine falling deeper in love with Vision 2030. Love for country and love for food. Cupid's outing. And later in sports, Sunshine Girls return after Australia series. Hello from Kingston, Jamaica. This is CVM News at 7 for Saturday, February 14, 2026. Thanks so much for joining us. I am Curlin Brown. And we begin with this update. The Norman Manley International Airport, the NMIA renovation schedule 2026 remains on course. We go to Joel Crossgill for more.
PAC Kingston Airport Limited PACAL has kicked off two comprehensive renovation projects at the Norman Manley International Airport NMIA, marking the next phase of the airport operator's $161 million transformation program, as we hear from Sitara English Byfield, Chief Executive Officer, PACAL.
And the latest two projects amongst a raft of projects are the Customs Hall and Arrivals Area Rehabilitation, which includes improved flooring, lighting, and aesthetics in the Customs Hall, improved flooring, lighting, etc. in the Arrivals area with a covered pickup area.
The Customs Hall and Arrivals Area renovation project will last approximately 24 months at a cost of $8 million and will see the space transformed from this to this.
The other project is our Link Corridor project. That's what we call this area, and it's between the departure lounge and the boarding pier at Norman Manley. Here we will be developing some additional commercial areas in addition to what we have, upstairs. This will include two food and beverage locations, one duty-free and one retail, with improved seating and the ability to overlook the apron, which is a major feature in most airports.
And the US $2 million Link Corridor upgrade will take around 16 months and significantly transform the shopping experiences available to travelers.
We are listening to our patrons who speak of the lack of diversity in the food that we offer at Norman Manley. And so we're adding two more in this phase one of the departure area rehabilitation.
A request for proposal for concessionaires is expected upon completion of the work.
The RFP to select the concessionaires for that area will be launched later this year, closer to the completion of the project, because typically when you do an RFP, the bidders want to see what they're bidding on, and we think it's unfair to them to have them bid before with just images that we have and before the project is advanced, where they can see what the locations actually look like. So the document is ready, and we're just waiting for an advanced stage of the execution of the project before we launch the RFPs worldwide for the concessionaires.
The renovation represents a critical component of PACAL's multi-billion-dollar investment program and follows the completion of several passenger-focused improvements, including restroom modernization, check-in hall retiling, and baggage handling system upgrades, complementing critical safety infrastructure projects already underway, including the US $72 million runway and safety area RESA implementation. Joel Crossgill, CVM News.
Jamaica is set to lead discussions at the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center Conference in Kenya this month. Fresh off a rapid rebound in visitor arrivals following Hurricane Melissa, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says the timing of the high-level forum couldn't be more critical as the global tourism industry is facing an era of unprecedented interconnected crisis.
In January alone, Jamaica welcomed over 500,000 tourists, just weeks after the tourism sector suffered billions in losses due to Hurricane Melissa. Industry experts describe the comeback as one of the quickest tourism recoveries from a major disaster in recent history. It's why Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says the island has earned its place as a global leader in tourism resilience and recovery.
What we are about, as you know, is a thought leadership process which brings dialogue across the world on the question of tourism resilience. When we began talking about resilience in 2017, it was a word that people were wondering, what exactly is he talking about? And today, there isn't a word mentioned without resilience being attached to it.
Global tourism leaders and investors will converge in Nairobi from February 16 to 18 as Kenya hosts the 4th Global Tourism Resilience Day Conference and Expo, positioning the country at the center of global efforts to strengthen tourism systems against future shocks. Discussions will focus on policy frameworks, investment strategies, crisis response mechanisms, technological readiness, and workforce development in an era of fast-moving global risks. The event is aimed at moving the global tourism resilience agenda from policy discussion to practical execution.
Firstly, to recognize disruptions, to foretell disruptions, so that an observatory is important in all of this. Secondly, to mitigate against these disruptions when they come, to manage when it reaches you, as it inevitably does, and then to recover. But not just to recover, but to recover quickly, because the consequences of late recovery is sometimes, as I indicate, annihilatory, and then finally to thrive.
The minister went further.
So these 5 critical touch points are the driving forces behind resilience as we understand it, and it is the bedrock of resilience. Without resilience, there can be no sustainability.
That report from Amoy Harriet. You know, sometimes it's not all about who, but what. After the who do you love, it's the what do you love, and how much do you actually love. And so on this Valentine's Day, when love is being spread, there's also a plea for love offering to be extended to and for the country Jamaica. The aim is to promote national development, celebrate limitless potential and rich culture with the prospect of achieving the best quality of life we can enjoy. Here's more from Damien Phillips.
Many around the world are celebrating what is well known as Valentine's Day, a day of love, they say, to show and receive. The government of Jamaica not missing out on the expression of love, but by way of an appeal to citizens. Love Jamaica, invest and reap the rewards. The theme, Jamaica My Valentine, Falling Deeper in Love, a continuation of the Love Jamaica initiative, which falls under the Vision 2030 National Development Plan, applicable, timely, and in motion.
Love is not a passive emotion. It is a commitment to action. It requires partnership, trust, and shared goals. It is a fuel for the social contract that binds us together and the shared belief that our collective efforts can make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
Partners from varying sectors working together, translating concepts and plans for showing love for Jamaica, a push to bring it all into action.
The focus of today's event is resilient growth and the ways in which we can collaborate and innovate to sustain our gains and reduce our vulnerabilities, while promoting accelerated growth that can withstand shocks and crises and benefit all Jamaicans.
Dr. Henry spoke of a Jamaica where persons can have the interest of the country at heart instead of pursuits for personal gain, pointing out Jamaica has much to celebrate, and though our achievements are many, we are troubled with small island vulnerabilities.
Innovation and productivity. How can we work smarter to capitalize on our cultural strengths, to create added value and compete globally? 2, value chain management, ensuring a globally competitive brand Jamaica through promoting entrepreneurship, research and development, protecting our intellectual capital, producing goods and services with distinct comparative advantage in efficiency, quality and profitability, and expanding our trade relations. And 3, digital expansion, which is especially important for small island developing states, which can use technology and digitalization to expand and diversify its sectors, products, and markets.
It's a country waiting for love, and it will require much more to thrive. It is hoped the love can spread far and wide as all are to be included.
Let us use this Valentine's season to renew our vows to this country, our country, falling deeper in love with the potential of our people and the promise of our future. I encourage all participants to engage fully, contributing to the discussions as we strive to improve the lives of all Jamaicans. We have to be careful that we don't get in the eastern parishes, get back to business as usual and forget that many in the western parishes are still without. And so we all continue the collaboration and working together as we strive to improve living standards for all Jamaicans.
For CVM News, I'm Damon Phillips.
And speaking of Valentine's Day, there's a chill spot in Santa Cruz tucked away from the hustle and the bustle of happenings in the township. It's been in operation for 5.5 years, and while they too seize the opportunity to make special those occasions when customers come out to feast, they say they keep the love real. They say it is the month of love, and so we're going to be serving up something extra special, something that almost all Jamaicans love. And look, in keeping with the color, red and white, that's Cupid color, they say, even this sweet potato has that color. And so along with that favorite meal for so many Jamaicans, we're going to be tossing up, well, the chef will be putting together something using sweet potato. Food activates the flame of love in the central area. Its location, Monte Carlo 404. From this cozy little spot. These sweet potatoes don't belong to me. They actually belong to Chef Sandia Williams. How you doing, Chef? Take your things.
I'm good. How are you?
I like the name Sandia.
Yes, it's also watermelon in Spanish.
Watermelon. All right. So you see, we're keeping it in the love colors.
Right.
Red for watermelon, red for that.
Sweet.
Aye. All right. So what are you going to make for me?
I'm going to make some sweet potato salad, serve with rice and peas and oxtail.
Oxtail. That's the one that every Jamaican
Love.
definitely.
This is my already cooked sweet potato.
So where you learned this recipe?
It's from my grandmother back in the days.
Really?
Yes.
Because everybody know about Irish potato
Yes.
salad.
Just salt, the taste. And you toss that together.
I think they have something they can substitute, you know. But for today, we're sticking with the mayo.
Right.
All right.
Okay, I'll do some chopped vegetable to garnish.
Apart from your grandmother, were you officially trained? Or?
I trained at Cologne Vocational Training Center in White House. I went to Sandals, Soul Quarries, also Grand Palladium in Hanover.
Good job.
Yes.
You are dressed for the kitchen and I am not. I'm going to allow you to do your preparation. I'll be just over there listening and smelling of all this nice oxtail. There's just something about the authentic oxtail from the local butcher. And just a reminder, oxtail is the tail of cattle, male or female these days. But it started out from the male with specific details. That sought-after taste comes with a slow cooking technique, and the wood fire just seems to make it nicer and glazed to get its own brown color. Add your beans and All right, me out the door.
We are all ready to plate this lovely oxtail.
I'm just making something simple. It's strawberry and pina colada daiquiri. Now we're in the red and white season, so we're gonna work with the red and white and our strawberry.
Now that strawberry pina colada was a perfect choice on a hot day. Of course, I'm dining alone, but I'm good.
Okay.
Chef Melon is all ready with the sides, including the sweet potato salad. Also on the menu was the option of mashed potato.
Thank you. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Enjoy your meal.
Yeah. Sorry, none for you.
A better look for your eyes is how this delicious meal started, as against how I finished it. Local healthcare providers at the Savannah Lamar Hospital received added support from a group of volunteers out of Canada in areas still struggling since Hurricane Melissa. Now, it was a short stint lasting 7 days. However, those days are expected to flow into a lasting partnership. The Canadian-based not-for-profit organization Team Broken Earth provides medical attention across the globe. Westland, their latest short stop.
We consider ourselves islanders, the same way Jamaicans do in many Caribbean countries. And we take care of each other just like you take care of each other here. We're neighbors and we're friends, and our hearts are typically with one another when it's required the most.
A wow moment at a time like this, not only based on the similarities of our people, but triggered by the pain inflicted by Hurricane Melissa.
Knowing that hurricanes take a very long time to recover from, and because we've been in other disaster zones in the past, we know that in the immediate days after a disaster, a lot of help comes, and then several months after that help leaves, but there's still a great deal of work to do. And so that explains the timing of our mission. That's why we're here at the very beginning of when most teams are leaving.
This 15-member team of specialized health professionals offered services beyond the Savannah Lamar Hospital, upholding the humanitarian mission in areas of greatest need.
I can see that you guys did your homework still, because those 4 areas are our critical areas in terms of where we actually need persons. My matron is there, she can back me up on that one. Or any, especially the internal medicine area. There's gen surge as well, and pediatrics. Those 4 areas are critical. So if you continue in that line, we're really grateful.
We're that type of organization. Like, we're here until we're no longer needed. When we go into an area, we're there to offer support, right. Not to take over in any way, to work alongside and see how we can all partner together to make things better. Flow Foundation executed the 1-week project, which was sponsored by its parent company in Miami, Liberty Caribbean Foundation. The resulting bonus is now a partner, which began with dialogue with the health ministry.
What we've seen on the ground in Jamaica is that people were helping each other. There was a lot of kindness. There was a lot of giving, and we wanted to be part of that.
Curlin Brown, CVM News. And CVM News at 7 will continue right after this.
Tune in to Lead Story, weekdays at 6 p.m. Hosted by Jody Ann Quarry.
Brought to you by Horizon, a new loan product from Access Financial Services.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's a live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Thanks so much for staying with us. Picking up where we left off with news out of Westland. The police are reporting what they describe as one of the most significant reductions in major crimes in nearly 2 decades. Commanding officer for the parish, Senior Superintendent Othniel Dobson, says murders and shootings have declined markedly, even as some police stations continue to recover from hurricane damage. Here is Kevin Black with more.
The Westmoreland Police are reporting a noticeable reduction in major crimes across the parish, including murders and shootings. Commanding officer for the parish, Senior Superintendent Othniel Dobson, made the disclosure while addressing the monthly meeting of the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation on Thursday. He says the decline in crime represents one of the most significant improvements in public safety recorded in the parish in nearly 2 decades.
So we had 61 less murders, 43 less shootings over the period. The parish concluded with 39 murders for the year. The lowest we have had in almost 18 years. So far this year, we are still seeing a 33% reduction. We had 6 murders this time last year, and we are now at 4. We are seeing overall reduction this year, 17% so far.
Dobson also provided an update on police infrastructure in the parish, noting that several stations were damaged during the passage of Hurricane Melissa and are still undergoing repairs. He says the restoration process is progressing, even as officers continue to carry out their duties.
And we had 5 of our stations without roof after the storm. Currently, we have all of our stations up. The only station that is not back up fully is the Bluefield station, but it's under repair.
The commanding officer says, despite the challenges posed by damaged facilities, members of the constabulary force remain committed to maintaining law and order across the parish.
All our stations, except Bluefields and White House, now have back electricity. And all our stations have been connected via cell phones. So even when we don't have that communication through landline, we have full numbers for these stations.
Kevin Black reporting for CVM News.
And now regional and international news.
We begin with news in the region. Cuba has been grappling with worsening fuel shortages, a situation intensified after Donald Trump pledged to cut oil supplies to the communist-led island, while a recent fire at a refinery in a port area of the capital, Havana, briefly added to the strain. France 24 provides that report.
Cuba is spiralling into tragedy as the US continues to choke the island of its fuel supplies amid an oil blockade. A fire broke out at an oil refinery in Havana on Friday. The blaze occurred not far from where 2 oil tankers were moored. The country is already rationing its energy. Universities are shuttered, school and work hours reduced. For Cubans, even getting around is difficult. residents rely on electric tricycles and bicycle taxis.
If the cars are having problems, imagine the rest. People need to get home and it's even worse at night. This is the only thing you see on the street, there's nothing else.
Reporting from the Cuban capital Havana, France 24's Ed Augustin says he's never seen regular people struggle as much.
Not enough fuel. The black market price of fuel has more than doubled in the last 2 weeks, leading to public transport grinding to a halt and making private transport impossibly expensive for regular people. The price of food has also gone up. So everyday Cubans, particularly vulnerable, particularly elderly Cubans, particularly black Cubans, particularly pregnant women, particularly kids in the countryside, they are feeling this pain more than ever.
The UN is extremely worried about the situation and calls for sanctions to be lifted. They say if trucks can't get fuel, they can't deliver essentials.
In Barbados, legislation is coming to prevent elected legislators from crossing the floor. Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley made the announcement at State House, where she was sworn in for a third consecutive term. We hear from CBC News, Barbados.
Members of Parliament who want to cross the floor may have to think twice. Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley says the parliamentary party has agreed that one of the first bills that will be introduced to the parliament is anti-defection legislation.
And it wasn't raised by me, it was raised by members of the parliamentary party who felt that if you are prepared to break, whether voluntarily or by whatever means, that you should go back to the polls and allow people to be able to validate your decision. Because in our system, while formally there's no recognition of political parties, the de facto reality is that people run on a political party ticket, and people are accepted by some, not only in their own individual right, but also as the representative of this party, its programs, its policies, its manifesto.
Two defections have occurred in recent times. In 2018, Bishop Joseph Atherley crossed the floor to become opposition leader. And then it happened again in 2024 when government backbencher Ralph Thorne also crossed the floor to become leader of the opposition.
And in international news, President Donald Trump continues to push the idea of Republicans controlling elections in the U.S., even though the Constitution gives states the authority to run presidential elections. The idea faces criticism from both parties, but he is moving forward regardless. More from Al Jazeera.
Showing federal agents searching an elections office in Georgia. The video, obtained by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, shows police questioning officials about their operation. Donald Trump has pushed the idea of a stolen 2020 election for a long time without producing any evidence. Now he says to make sure it doesn't happen again, Republicans should nationalize elections, a responsibility the U.S. Constitution gives to the states.
The state is an agent for the federal government in elections. I don't know why the federal government doesn't do them anyway.
He originally floated the idea during a podcast with his former deputy director of the FBI.
The Republicans should say, we want to take over. We should take over the voting in at least 15 places. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting.
Top Democrats say it's another assault on the Constitution from the president.
This is more dangerous autocratic poison from Donald Trump.
And there doesn't seem to be much support from Republicans on the Hill either.
It's always been the responsibility of the states to administer elections.
And that's it for regional and international news.